Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Food is such a big part of the Disney theme park experience. I mean, who doesn't like to eat? Over the last couple years, I've made it my mission to find the best immersive sit-down restaurants inside the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks. The restaurants will be ranked on the final score of 3 categories out of 10: theming, food quality, and the overall value of the experience. Now, I hope you're hungry, because today we're going to be counting down the top 10 best themed restaurants at Walt Disney World. Number 10. The Mexico Pavilion at Epcot is one of my favorite pavilions in World Showcase. Inside, it's so cozy and it transports you right into this Mexican village. Now, it can be a little chaotic in here, but if you want to experience something a bit more intimate, there's always the Sun Angel Inn. You've probably seen this while you're on the ride. This Mexican restaurant is nestled at the back of the pavilion, and it's one of the more romantic restaurants in the park. There's something so charming about these indoor nighttime theme restaurants, don't you think? Now, if you're looking for really good Mexican food, well, you won't find that here. The food is just average, and it's kind of overpriced. The chicken enchiladas were good, but they were nothing special. The carne asada was a very tender New York strip steak, but it was not worth the $54 price tag. They even charge you $6 for tortilla chips, which used to be free at one point. You're definitely coming here for the ambiance and not really for the value of the food. The great thing is that you don't even need to eat at the restaurant to enjoy the atmosphere. So Sun Angel Inn gets a 7.5 for theming, a 5 for food, and a 3 for the overall value of the experience. Number 9. If you're a Jungle Cruise fan, a true hidden gem at Magic Kingdom is the Skipper Canteen restaurant in Adventureland. It just happens to be the Jungle Navigation Company headquarters. Imagineers took everything we love about the ride and extended the story into the restaurant. Now, the main dining area is the Skipper's Mess Hall, where you can find the office of Dr. Albert Falls, the same Dr. Albert Falls who inspired the iconic Schweitzer Falls. Then on the left-hand side at the back of the restaurant, there's the Sea Room, which was once a secret meeting room for the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. If you poke around in here, you'll find a few little hidden goodies. Then beside the Sea Room is the Jungle Room. This used to be Dr. Albert Falls' family parlor. All the decor is so eclectic, and it really feels like the Jungle Cruise headquarters was turned into this restaurant. Now, in terms of the food, Skipper Canteen serves up South American, Asian, and African cuisine, all of which was pretty good. Skipper Dan's Dan Dan noodles were very flavorful, and the cachapas, for a starter, were my favorite. Not to mention, the portions are pretty generous here for what you're paying. So I'd give Skipper Canteen 6s right across the board. Number 8. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, you can find 50's Primetime Cafe just off Hollywood Boulevard. Now, as soon as you walk into the restaurant, it's like stepping into a time capsule. You find yourself right in Mom's, or maybe in this case Grandma's, vintage living room.
How are you kids doing today?
Good, how are you?
TVs play old shows from the 50s, and tacky trinkets can be found in every nook and cranny. The theming is fun, but the real stars are the cast members.
I'm Andy Lane, and I'm going to take care of you today.
And you better make sure you mind your manners.
What are you doing with your elbows on the table?
Whoops, sorry.
And you still have those hats on?
Aunt Elaine was the best, and she served up some pretty good food too. It's just your typical American diner food, but I was pleasantly surprised with how tasty everything was. Grandpa Gene's chicken pot pie and Cousin Megan's meatloaf were exactly what you'd expect from a diner. Oh, and if you finish your meal, you'll become a member of the Clean Plate Club.
I am smiling. This is me smiling.
Just so you know, she's not one of Mom's favorites.
You know why?
Why?
Oh.
Oh.
Mom doesn't.
The cast members really sell this whole concept of the restaurant.
A lasting impression.
All of the servers definitely made a lasting impression, that's for sure. So 50's Primetime Cafe gets a solid 6 out of 10 for theming, a 6 for food, and an 8 for the overall value of the experience. Number 7. When you enter Asia at Animal Kingdom, you'll find yourself in the fictional village of Anandapur. The villagers here rely on travel and tourism to bring in income, and that includes the owner of the Yak and Yeti restaurant. Now, the building may look like a pretty grand place, and that's because it belongs to a rich merchant named Arjun. Unfortunately, he's fallen on some hard times. He had to turn portions of his home into a boutique hotel, as well as using the courtyard as a restaurant. The hotel keys from the vacant rooms can actually be seen at the hotel check-in desk, and upstairs you'll even find some of the hotel rooms. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, Arjun has decorated the place with his extensive collection of artifacts. There's a lot of really cool and authentic pieces to check out. Everything in here is just so detailed. The theming isn't in your face like some of the other restaurants on the list, but the difference here is in the subtle details. It's exactly what you'd expect at Animal Kingdom, and that also goes for the food. Yak and Yeti serves up delicious Pan-Asian cuisine, and the menu has a lot more options than your typical restaurant in the theme parks. Both the duck and pad thai had so much flavor, and the portions were massive. This is another place to come with an appetite. So Yak and Yeti gets an 8 for theming, an 8 for food, and a 6 for the overall value of the experience. Number 6. One of the newest restaurants at Walt Disney World is Roundup, Rodeo, Barbecue in Toy Story Land, and you better be ready to dine as the size of a toy. Hello. Perfect, thank you. When you walk in, it can be a little overwhelming. There is a lot going on, and everything is so vibrant and in your face. Now, as you walk to your table, you'll start to notice little details, like Andy's ruler, these Monopoly cards used as bench seating, a hidden Mickey on the milk carton, as well as the prospector's mine made into a little private dining room. You'll keep noticing new details as you look around, but I just wish the restaurant had a bit more kinetic energy, especially when it came to the characters. There was definitely opportunity to do more, but at least we get a bit of kinetics when the characters can be heard over the speakers. It's a lot of fun, but when it comes to the food, it honestly wasn't anything to brag about. First off, it's all served family style, so it's a set price for both lunch and dinner. It does include soft drinks, then you start off with biscuits, which were delicious, then 3 different salads, which were subpar at best. For the main course, you get to choose between 4 different sides, and aside from the roasted vegetables, they were all kind of just bland. Then there's the meat platter, which comes with chicken, ribs, sausage, and brisket. The meats were actually pretty good. I was just kind of disappointed that the ribs were a bit dry compared to other ribs on property. Oh, and you can't forget about dessert. Definitely come with an appetite because as you can see, there is a lot of food, especially when it's only 2 people. What's great about the restaurant though is that it really extends the Toy Story Land story even further. It fully immerses you into the world of these toys that we've grown up with. So with Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for theming, a 6 for food, and a 9 for the overall value of the experience. Number 5. Over at the Germany Pavilion in Epcot's World Showcase, one restaurant I think a lot of people sleep on is Biergarten. To be completely honest, I wish I would have given this restaurant a chance a lot sooner. So once you're inside, you'll find yourself in a traditional Bavarian village where they're celebrating Oktoberfest. And the best part is that there's also a show. You'll indulge in some classic German sounds by these incredibly talented musicians. It creates such a lively atmosphere, immersing you right into the German culture, especially with a beer. You totally forget you're in a theme park. It really feels like you're dining in this quaint European town. Now, Biergarten is an all-you-can-eat buffet, and everything we tried was delicious. Plus, we went near the end of the night too, when the food may not be as fresh as it would be during the day. The schnitzel was perfectly crisp, sausages were juicy, and the roasted chicken was some of the best at the parks. Plus, there was a great variety of salads, sides, desserts, and other dishes. You will not leave hungry, that's for sure. With it being a buffet, it is on the pricier side, but since it's dinner and a show, it's definitely worth it. So I'd give Biergarten 8s across the board. Number 4. Since 1991, the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater has been a staple dining experience at Hollywood studios. When you first walk in, you get this backstage look at this set on a soundstage, only to have it turn into a 50s drive-in movie theater. I mean, this is the real deal. Vintage cars are lined up in a row facing the screen, and these are actually your tables. There's also some longer configurations and circular tables in the back. The majority are these old cars though, and it really feels like you're at the drive-in. Then as you're eating, you can enjoy some retro cartoons, and you may even see some familiar faces. Everything here just really brings you back in time. All the details are on point. The food is also exactly what you'd expect at a drive-in. It's a casual American menu with burgers, salads, and they even have pasta. I haven't personally tried the pasta, but they do serve a solid burger, and that's all you can ask for at a drive-in. What you're really paying for is the ambiance, and that's why Sci-Fi Dine-In is such a unique dining experience. So I'd give it a solid 10 for theming, a 5 for food, and a 9 for the overall value of the experience. Number 3. The Space 220 restaurant at Epcot is such an immersive experience. It kind of feels like an attraction in itself. Once you receive your boarding pass, you'll be called into the space elevator and travel 220 miles above Epcot to the Centauri space station.
Everybody say bye!
Alright, 5 elevator, the latest in space elevator design and technology.
The ride takes just over a minute, and during the entire time, you can feel the ground shake. It really feels like you've traveled into space. It's so cool.
If you look above, you'll see Centauri space station coming into view. Once we dock, gather your belongings and exit through the open airlock.
Once you exit on the left, you'll get a glimpse of the produce wheel. Then the big wow moment is walking into the dining room and seeing this panoramic view of Earth. It all feels so futuristic. As you dine, you'll notice different objects and even some astronauts floating on by in the windows. The view of Earth will also be different depending on the time of day you're in the restaurant. You may even see it go from day to night. Now in terms of food, lunch and dinner are prefixed menus, but if you do bar seating, you can just order appetizers. I've done both, and although the presentation looks fantastic, the food is just kind of average. Nothing tastes bad, you just expect it to taste a lot better based on how it looks. This is the first restaurant on the list though that offers a superb lineup of specialty cocktails. Honestly, I'd say skip the prefixed menu and get bar seating to do cocktails and appetizers. The chicken and waffles dish was phenomenal. Overall, the whole experience at Space 220 is still one of a kind. So I'd give it a solid 10 out of 10 for theming, a 6.5 for the food, and the overall value of the experience gets a 9. Number 2. Dining at Cinderella's royal table at Magic Kingdom really makes you feel like royalty. Stepping inside the iconic Cinderella castle is a dream come true for so many people, and it's just as grand as you'd imagine. Even Cinderella is there to greet you.
Oh my goodness, so I hope you had a wonderful time.
The architecture in here is stunning, and it really evokes that grand medieval feel. Now once you make your way upstairs and into the main dining room, you'll see it's an elegant space, fit for royalty. It's even more grand than downstairs, and it just feels so special. The fact that you're eating inside Cinderella Castle truly elevates the experience. Now they do serve all 3 meals here, but lunch and dinner are a prefixed 3-course menu. I do have to say though that service, presentation, and food quality were all of a very high caliber. It's what you'd expect for the high price tag. The food was fantastic, and the beef tenderloin was one of the juiciest steaks I've eaten at the parks. If your dinner time overlaps with the fireworks, they actually dim the lights and play the music for you to enjoy the show. This was such a unique experience and one that I'll never forget. Now this restaurant is normally character dining, but when we visited, it still hadn't returned. From what I've heard, it can get pretty rowdy in here, so maybe the experience wouldn't have been as enjoyable with character dining. I'd try it again though to find out. So Cinderella's royal table gets an 8 out of 10 for theming, a 9 for food, and a 9 for the overall value of the experience. Number 1. Be Our Guest restaurant at Magic Kingdom has been one of my favorite immersive dining experiences at Walt Disney World. This is where it really feels like an animated film has come right to life. The inside of the Beast's castle is just as grand as you'd imagine, and there are 3 different rooms you could dine in. Straight ahead is obviously the iconic Grand Ballroom, which is filled with so much detail. They set the mood just right by playing instrumental songs from the film. Then to the left, you can find the dimly lit West Wing equipped with the Red Rose, and on the other end is the Music Box Room. It's my least favorite room, but it's based on a music box Maurice gives Belle and the Beast.
Hello, friends. We're proudly invited to your guests. Now we are excited to introduce the Beast.
Now, during your meal, the Beast will make an appearance, but he doesn't stop and take pictures. So it's really not character dining, and it mainly just further enhances the immersion of being in the Beast's castle. You will get a signed card at the end of the meal, though. Now, in terms of the food, this is a 3-course prefixed menu for both lunch and dinner, and it is on the higher, pricier side. You'll start off with bread, then get an appetizer, an entree, and the dessert trio. Both times I've had the steak, and I've never been disappointed. The filet mignon was cooked to perfection the last time. Now, the desserts, including the gray stuff, aren't my favorite, but overall, the whole experience is really special, especially if you're a huge Beauty and the Beast fan. So, I'd give Be Our Guest restaurant a 10 for theming, a 9 for food, and a 9 for value. So, have you ever tried any of these restaurants at Walt Disney World before? What's your favorite? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.